Okay. Thank you for inviting me for the International Live webinar post-COVID-19 challenges and opportunities for industry and higher education. Uh, it is organized by South Asian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm really honored to be part of this webinar, and I would like to firstly address. Okay, sorry. I'd like to address my gratitude to all the people that involved in this program, because it's really the in things now, because we are having the pandemic of COVID-19. It's making us have to look into many angles to, to some kind of offer solutions to the situation that we are encountering now. So my title will be as Asia Higher Education Reform post COVID-19, because it is very close to me, and I would like to start by taking Deepak Chopra quotation that all great changes are preceded by chaos, meaning that this COVID-19 is not only can be considered as pandemics, but it can also be considered as challenges and opportunities for industry and higher educations. Okay. Okay, I need to introduce myself first for this webinar. My name is Arif from the Applied Science Technology Department of Physics and Chemistry for University Tunisia in Malaysia, and I'm actually is nanotechnologist, and recently just went back to just coming back from Tianjin, China, as a visiting professor, and also in Morocco. So I like to introduce my university first, where it is. This is the map of Malaysia. We have Peninsular Malaysians and the East Malaysia there, and we are situated a little bit south, near to Singapore. And this is the old building of our campus, and we have a new branch campus in a little bit north. It's a brandly new developed campus, and this is some of the plan for the new campuses in Pago. This is the old maps, and this is the new map of the new facilities, and we have a lot of programs, including aeronautics. Okay, I choose Deepak quotations because I think he is close to Indians. He's an Indian-born American author, and is a alternative medicine advocate. He gave a very good quotes for us to understand that all great changes are preceded by chaos, meaning that chaos situations offer us a lot of other things. Okay, it's offer us things that beyond our imaginations. Therefore, we need to look at some of the things like chaos theory, how chaos can be looked into, and how to look at the simple formulation of chaos. And our educations is a chaos systems and challenges and opportunities. This is part of my talk. But before that, I would like to give you a brief looking at into our world or our life. Our world basically consists of two parts. That is the structured part that we can easily predict it. What is the outcome? We just like we do A, B, C, and we got the output of it. And But we are also being influenced by the random things around us, randoms that somehow become the things that mold our structure world. Example is the road system. The road system, if we imagine that in the old days, the human keep on moving and then they create a lot of roads, a lot of new roads. And at the end, we need to create a new systematic road system. That's why, that's how the random of things uh, actually gave us the structured world. And vice versa also, just like the structured world that we have now is suddenly being interrupted by a uh, chaos event like coronavirus. So the coronavirus is actually disrupt our structured world, such as our education system now, is being influenced by this COVID-19. Therefore, we are forced to look at how this uh, chaotic event from the COVID-19 pandemic have somehow affected our education system, meaning that it is a two-way, vice versa directions, meaning that something that is structures can be made into chaos, and something that being chaos can be made into structure. I will explain it later. Okay, example of our structure system being interrupted by chaotic system is just like corona pandemic. So we are suddenly forced to change our structured life. It seems that nature forces us to change, forces us to make all the changes. So this is how the world being governed. Okay, we are constantly being introduced with randomness. Then we started to create the structured systems and vice versa. So if we look at this, the graph of the pandemic in China started in early January, and luckily they are reduced to a flat uh, curve, meaning that there are some interventions, meaning that being made by the China government to reduce uh, the pandemic, meaning that from the chaos system we can make it to become uh, back to our structured system by intervention such as lockdown. So this lockdown can be as a creative effort and on how to control the pandemic and how to get our life back, our structured life. Okay, so if you look at the chaotic system, uh, nuclear chain reaction can be said as a chaotic system because all we need is to start by one accelerated neutrons to bombard to uranium-235, and we create three more accelerated neutrons that will be affected to other uraniums. In this case, the neutrons that we accelerated doesn't have to be specifically uh, attacking or bombarded to one uranium atom. Okay, it can be any uranium atoms in that, let's say in the bulk, meaning that the chaos system can be created easily by one accelerated neutron. Okay, just in this case of coronavirus, it can become pandemic just because one guy is being infected and it transfers the disease to another persons, and the other person's transfer to another person's, and the change going on. And that's how the coronavirus create the COVID-19 pandemic. So how to stop it? Stop it by creatively, okay, by using lockdown, and in the case of nuclear reactions, we reduce the nuclear chain reactions by introducing the the control rods that could be leads. Okay, somehow the neutron will be the new neutrons that being created from the initial neutrons will be reduced their speeds, therefore will not create another chain reactions. So that is how we control the nuclear reaction in the nuclear reactor. So meaning that creatively scientists uh, able to see that how to reduce the changes, okay, the chain reactions by introductions of uh, some introductions of interventions. Okay, so therefore the rate of new accelerators are reduced. This can be analogy to our lockdown system for the coronavirus pandemic. So therefore this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic can be seen as an atomic bomb explosions, but it's in the form of virus infections. So all it is started by one neutron or one virus, then infected to two people, then at two get four, and four get eight, and get at 16, and so on. So the simple mathematical model for the nuclear chain reactions of COVID-19 pandemic is just like y equal to 2 the power of x, or y equal to 3 the power of x, meaning that the more infected people, the more uh, starting infected people, the more it will be increased. So that's why all of the world focus on lockdown to prevent spread of coronavirus. But how this formula can be used for our opportunities in higher education, that is, we need to look at this formula that is so easy that if we look at one point in our educations and try to start to look at two alternatives, then these two alternatives start to be looked into another four alternatives, and so on, we might be able to create uh, ways to control our life. Okay, so if you look at the coronavirus graph, it's look like exponential graph. This is being taken from today, 16 May 2020, the world coronavirus infected graph, people that infected. And now the formula and the graph will be look at a bit the same. Okay, so the graph gave us the exponential rate. So that's how we look at the chaotic system or the random system, meaning that all random system able to make a very very high exponential rate. So to counterattack, to counter-react this pandemic, we need to apply the same ideas for our higher education reform. We need to look at every single possible point in education systems and try to reform at least two alternatives, or if we are having many scientists, many educationists, they can look into three, four, and that's keep on going to create more changes for our education reform. So, meaning that each part of the education system need to be scrutinized and to be look into all the challenges and opportunities that we can look at. Therefore, the formula is so simple. 1 create 2, 2 create 4, 4 create 8, like that. So how it's so easy to look into it. So this is how we look at it, because this uh, forces us to be creative to reform our education system. What is the reform that can be made? Let's say we look at it into educations. Educations will be involving at least teachers and students. Okay, so how can we reform the teachers? How can we reform the students? I mean, making the changes in our teachers, how they will be need to be equipped with, and also for the students. Okay, that's the every point that we need to look at. We need to find all the creative solutions or the creative alternative. So when we are failing to do that, because some parts that we might not looking into it. So this is taken from my papers written for PhD studies uh, following nuclear chain reactions. Okay, so at the first part, okay, at the first half, okay, this is where we started from one point and tried to elaborate as much as possible, but in the middle, we realized that we need to focus on one part to become a successful PhD explorations. So I'm looking into this COVID-19, post-COVID-19 as a way as research, PhD research. We start at one point, end up at many, and then we need to start to reduce it to make sure that we get the objective of our research. So just like in our education system, we want to make some changes. Let's say we want to change the teachers here. In the teachers, we need to be looking into their qualifications and the skills that we need to enhance. So this is 2 points that we need to look at. And let's say we look at the skills of the teachers. Now we need to know that we realize that they need to be introduced with uh, online capabilities. They need to be having computer savvy to be able to create uh, good ground, good image, good simulations, and to deliver all the subject matters. And form a successful PhD, okay, we do all the parts from the first point, we elaborate to 2, to 4, to 8, to 16. Starting at one point, we ended at many, but later we reduce it to the focus of our, let's say for the teachers. What is the teachers, what is the objective that we want to achieve? Okay, meaning that the fruitful or successful interventions will need to be looked like this. Okay, meaning that started from chaotics, we try to create it to become a structured system. And we can start looking at it from the education itself. Educations involve curriculums, teachers, teaching of the students, creating new habits, how they learn, and for the secondary or lower stage of educations, what is the knowledge that they need to acquire and the skills that they need to be enhanced in them. And we also need to look at how e-learnings, colleges, and all this can be scrutinized into looking into new possibilities or new things that we can create. So there's every keywords that listed can be as our challenges and opportunities, and perhaps like curriculum, at least we need to find two possible changes or new alternative. Okay, how do our curriculum need now not only to uh, be introduced in face-to-face, but it also need to be looked into online learnings. But we have a lot of other things that need to be looked at. And that's why I say that the education is also a chaos system and we need to control it. So like skills also, what are the two alternatives that can be looked into? This is the opportunities that can be created, such as online laboratory. So how can we introduce an online laboratory or simulation experiments? Okay, now looking at this, the opportunities lies to every country. It's, it's only how creatively we create new education system. We can adapt to this new norm by creating new uh, alternative. We might have the competitive edge in the future. So advanced countries are already at a better stage compared to Malaysia or Indonesia. But with this coronavirus pandemic, the race is open to everybody. It means that Malaysia can strive to become a better country in the future or advanced country if we can create a better or creative solution to our education system. So Charles Darwin said that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent that survive also, but it's about one that can become the most adaptable to the environment. So with that, I would like to end up my talk. Try to let you realize that I'm agree with Deepak Chopra uh, ideas that all great changes are preceded by chaos. So meaning that the chaos event led us to be creative. So let us now be creative, and I'll be looking forward to see how this this webinar can offer us uh, in looking at how we manage to be creative in finding new solutions for our education system. And of course, these changes will reform our not only our education system, also to our higher education systems. With that, thank you. We'll be seeing you again in the future. Thank you.